west of Philadelphia. Schools in the area have been closed as the manhunt rolls on. The eastern U.S. will feel scorching temperatures this week. Mid to upper 90 temperatures are in the forecast today in places like Philadelphia, New York City. NBC meteorologist Angie Lassman.
These are record temperatures, 100 degrees across Washington, D.C. today. We'll continue to see these conditions lasting for a while here as we get through at least Saturday and Sunday. That's when we're going to start to see things kind of calm down.
COVID-19 infections are on the rise as the country heads into fall. Hospitalizations and deaths have been increasing, and the virus is being detected more frequently in wastewater samples. It's hard to track exact numbers as states are no longer required to report numbers to the CDC. Medical contributor Dr. Vin Gupta.
30% of American adults have never gotten a shot. Many more have not boosted. So as we enter the winter months with a ever more transmissible version of this virus relative to 2020, we have these pockets of vulnerability that should concern those local health systems.
Dr. Gupta says mask mandates should return to hospitals since that's where the most vulnerable can be found. Many student loan borrowers will resume making payments on their debt this fall. Some may get an extra boost from their employer. More from Aaron Real.
The share of entry-level jobs that mention student loan repayment programs has more than doubled since 2019. This is according to data from Handshake, the career platform for college students and recent grads. The industries on the platform with the most full-time jobs mentioning student loan repayment benefits include healthcare, nonprofit, government, law and politics, financial services, and education.
No, it's Super Roth.
Okay, a gimmicky opening for a commercial about Super Roth Universal Life Insurance, but I'm sure it got your attention. Now, what is a Super Roth, you ask? It's a permanent indexed universal life insurance that's totally liquid and easily accessible once it matures. Can be used to supplement retirement savings or a death benefit, or both. Has no income or contribution limit. Has no 5-year rule like Roth IRAs. Has no 10% penalty for accessing the funds before age 59 and a half. Oh, and the average historical returns are 5 to 7% annually, tax-free. Super Roths also lock in gains, which means you don't lose your money when the market is down. Sounds incredible, right? Sounds super? Super Roths are the way of the future, specifically your future. To see if you qualify for a Super Roth, go online to thesuperroth.com.
Car Recycling in Fontana reminds all drivers, when you take to the road, remember those 3 C's of safety. That's caution, courtesy, and above all, a little common sense. Safe and sober driving is everyone's responsibility. This message courtesy of Car Recycling at 3800 East Andy Devine in Kingman. Call Car Recycling at 928-757-9888. That's 928-757-9888. That's where Trish and the staff are wishing everyone happy and safe driving.
It's time to shop in the cool, relaxed comfort of the Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands, conveniently located on the I-10 freeway between the Alabama and Tennessee exits. Bring the kids too and watch them play in the only indoor fun center, High Five Indoor Playground, where parents are welcomed on the playground. Birthday celebrations are encouraged, so make plans for some great fun at the mall. More reasons why the Tri-City Center is called the Mall with a Heart.
I always hear from our clients who hired another firm that they wish they'd hired DNA Financial first. Don't have regrets about your IRS tax case. Just hire the best in the first place.
One owed $150,000 to the IRS and had spent thousands on another firm. We stopped the levies, negotiated a payment plan, and had their penalties forgiven.
And while every case is different, we guarantee that we'll find your perfect resolution and get it done right.
For a free consultation, call us at 866-201-0156. That's 866-201-0156. Then you can say, DNA did right by me.
I understood what was going to happen if I, Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
You are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Nah, I knew that was going to be
But
the
I
answer.
surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans, they'd have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so
Okay,
I can come
okay,
over.
come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Spreaker, Streaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye, formerly or now known talk, because I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. Why not 100% of the time? Then you'd be dead. And I don't want dead people watching or talking or listening. I want you to be happy 88% of the time, which is most of the time. And as you know, I use 8s a lot because it's a homophone for good fortune in Chinese. So that's why it's 88%. And so I have topics and guests to help you with that everywhere from, as you saw in the promo, Corey Feldman, the nanny talking about preventative cancer, to let's see, beautiful Marion Ross, who came to my studio live when it was in Sunset Gower at the age of 89 and then returned just earlier this year at 94. So I'm just so grateful. I was sitting here in the green room going, dang, am I lucky to have more than 1,000 shows now and the ability to have a virtual studio so I can have co-hosts. And my newest co-host is in studio today. She is here every single Wednesday now. I'm so delighted with that. She is Dr. Tiffany Tate, and let me just give you a little bit of information about her. She's a U.S. Navy veteran, published author, and retired OBGYN from Compton, California. She is currently reinventing herself all the time. She was in the Carla Hall cooking competition. She was trying to win money to feed the homeless. She came in 6th, which was pretty amazing because she was up against, you know, all those cook channel, all those TV cooks, and she did very well there. Very proud of her. And she has several books out and a lot of really good material. My favorite one that she wrote is the children's book called No Touching. And she certainly, because it helps kids understand where what is good and what is not good. So without further ado, please do welcome to my studio, Dr. Tiffany Tate. Yes. And where's the applause?
Dr. Tiffany Tate. I did write the book Bad Touching that is available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and it does teach children about inappropriate touching and how to report it. And I strongly recommend it. And I also wrote a book called Floetry, 108 Poetic Flows on Life, Love, and Liturgical Issue. And it helps to identify and uplift your spirits and encourage you. And today we will be talking about various topics, but more specifically, stress.
You say stress like it's a bad thing. No, I'm just kidding. Sarcasm is another service I offer. But before we jump into the topic, we start every show here with a blissipline. I am trying to get you to drink my Kool-Aid to start your day in the most positive way. So we take a bite of my gratitude sandwich when we have breakfast with Dr. Marissa and her co-host of Doctors in the House. Yes. Good job. And Dr. Tiffany Moore. So let's do a quick one word gratitude. Frank, if you'd like to play along, you know the drill. He's my wonderful new sound engineer who does a great job, and I'm so grateful for him. I'm going to start with that one. Go ahead, Tiffany.
I am very grateful for my mom, T. May, who raised me.
Oh, beautiful. I am grateful for my station manager, Mark Westwood.
And I am grateful for breakfast.
I am grateful for coffee.
And I am grateful for air conditioning because it has been hot.
Heck yeah. I am grateful for, let's see, dolphins.
And I am grateful for Beyonce and her music because it was her birthday this past Monday.
And you got to go to the concert.
I did.
Wow. What was that like?
It was absolutely fabulous. Diana Ross showed up and we all sang her happy birthday as an audience. And Kendrick Lamar showed up and he did a duet in the middle of her concert with her. It was an absolutely fabulous experience.
How cool is that? Where was she playing?
She was at I guess the former Staples Center.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Inglewood.
Crypto.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I can't make that shift on the name. So it must be some kind of a internal block because I lost money on crypto. That's probably what it is. All right, and that is the top of the bun called gratitudes. Dr. Wayne Dyer, one of my wonderful teachers who's on the other side, says start your day with 5 gratitudes. I'm a recovering overachiever. That's why we do 8. And then we go to the bottom of the bun, which is appreciation. And it's my BS, my belief system, that if you can't take care and soothe yourself and love yourself, you're going to have issues with your mental health. So I want you to practice and practice liking yourself. What are things that you like about yourself? And as you get more comfortable and own those things, the less rocked you're going to be by shift happening. That's my BS, and so far so good. So what do you like about yourself, Dr. Tiffany?
I like that I am able to forgive.
Great. I appreciate that I have the ability to forget.
That's a good one, too.
Go ahead.
I like that I can cook.
I appreciate that I am a creative dresser.
I like that I am a giver.
I appreciate my hair.
And I appreciate that I am reliable.
And finally, I appreciate that I am funny, even though my husband did not think so. And best part of divorce is I own my funny. So that is it for having a bite of my gratitude sandwich this morning. Thanks for joining Dr. Tiffany and I for breakfast. I promise that if you continue this discipline for the next 28 days, you will sandwich your day in a positive way. All right, that's it. And if you're tuned in and wondering what's going on in the studio today, you have joined Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, TV channel now. So it houses all of my 1,013 shows, believe it or not. 592 consecutive weeks. Thank you for joining us. I see eyeballs continue to roll in. That means you are streaming live with us, which means you get to participate today. If you put your comments or questions in the chat, we'll put them up here and call you out and give you some peace in, peace out love. So, topic of the day, Dr. Tiffany, is
stress. and how to combat it.
Yeah. So let's qualify. I never get stressed, right? And that's bullshit talkie. I have learned how to manage stress, but let's just talk about all the things that you could possibly be stressed about right now. So we're just going to qualify because I like to put the moose on the table before we get into solution. What are all the ways in which people right now are stressed? Maybe not you, maybe not me, because we have to practice what we teach most of the time. But what do you hear people being stressed about? And let's do tag team and see how long we can keep this going.
Yeah, sometimes you might have a friend, air quotes, a friend who might have stress about their relationship or finances. Or
So,
Mhm.
so not having someone, they're singing lonely, I am so lonely. So not having a relationship could be one. Having a relationship could be one, right?
Yes,
Be
yes,
careful what you asked for.
absolutely. So being in a relationship and your partner is not behaving the way you want them to behave,
Yep.
because being in a relationship that is dysfunctional can cause problems. Being in a relationship where you're not meeting their expectations or they're not meeting your expectations can cause a lot of, I guess, distrust or stress and strain
Stress.
on you. Or you have people saying, why aren't you in a relationship? I thought you would be married by now. I thought you would have children by now. A lot of times we put expectations that are unreasonable on ourselves. And you're like, okay, I'm 20, I'm 25. I thought I would have X, Y, and Z. Or I'm 30 and 35. Or I'm 40 and 45. And a lot of women and a lot of men, when we're in high school, we think, okay, I want to be married, I want to have kids, and we have all these innate goals. But a lot of times our profession won't really allow us to do those things if we're profession minded. And we see our goals, and our goals don't really align up with our lifestyle at that time. So we may not be where we want to be in our relationship with, or our relationship has overcome and has have overcome our lifestyle in such a way where we're not content in both arenas of our life, and that can be stressful. And then we put all these innate things on us and we feel bad about ourselves. But
Yep.
then you have to ask, should we feel bad about ourselves?
Yep. Yep. Um, Finances, lost money in the pandemic. That's probably one of the biggest stressors that I see. That is businesses that closed down, a lot of restaurants, a lot of artist venues. I just got to see Les Miserables at the Pantages. It was incredibly phenomenal. Found out that it's hashtag Asian Pride. Her name is Christine. Let's see if I can find this quickly. Uh, Christine Heeson, and she was amazing as the artist that sings that my favorite song. I think it's On My Own, but what I bring it up because the loss that the pandemic affected art was tremendous, and so the financial insecurity that people are realistically concerned about. People wiped out savings or lost their homes or lost their whatever businesses. So there's some stress, not some, there's a lot of stress around that. Okay. Um, there's stress around not being able to find a job or having a job that you hate.
Oh, yes, yes. There's a lot of stress over people who had their IRAs or 401ks and they lost money because the stock market tanked. And then there's that insecurity there. So you had a plan and your plan flew out the window. or you had a plan and you got a divorce and that person took 50% of what you had. So you also have that issue as well. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So you have all these different stressors that you have to go through, or you're paying alimony at the wazoo. And so you have all these plans that kind of go awry, and it's like, what do you do? Where do you go? And who do you talk to? But right now, these are things that you did not plan for,
Right.
and you find yourselves in these different situations.
And then you have stress about people above and below you. Before I sense that you were going to go to solution. We're not done yet. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's go to. We just covered stress about yourself, right? And now you start stressing about what? Did we talk about this last week? No, I talked about this. Sorry, I'm getting my shows mixed up. But on Tuesday, we talked about being in the sandwich generation, where you're worried and stressed about your health of your parents. And then you're worried and stressed about the health or the livelihood or the prospects for your kids.
Yeah,
so you've got, right. So you got a sandwich stress or a shock absorbers, the shock absorber generation, even though we're ageless, Dr. Tiffany and I are. But we are, a common stressor is worried about your parents, worried about Social Security going away, stressed about your kids being on drugs, or not going to a good school, or not getting a job.
Yeah, providing for them, yes. And making sure you take care of them and your grandkids, and just making sure they stay on the right path, and always being concerned and not being able to look out for them, because right now the world is chaotic, and they can get shot going to the movie theaters, they can get shot going to church, they can get shot going to the supermarket. And it's not just being worried about providing for them, it's being concerned about their safety, just surviving, because we live in a crazy upside down world nowadays. And you can't protect everyone everywhere, not just your children, your immediate family, your extended family. So there's a lot of concern. You can turn on the news and there is chaos everywhere. So what do you do? What do you do about that concern? What do you do about that stress? There's anxiety and there's stress. And there's a difference between anxiety and the stress and the concern and the worry.
Absolutely want to give a shout out. We just had Valerie Heath check in from LinkedIn. I'm streaming there, as well as Facebook and YouTube channel. Valerie, I met years ago. She runs a great organization that helps veterans. And if you put that event in the chat, Valerie, I'll pull it up for you. I always like to highlight people who are doing great things, but also put in there what you're stressed about, in case you are stressed, or what you hear people are stressed about, as we continue to set the stage for doctors in the house commenting and recommending and just giving a disclaimer. Even though Dr. Tiffany is a board certified OBGYN, she is not practicing anymore, but she's still licensed, so she can give advice. However, she's not here on that capacity. We are both, I'm a PhD doctor, which is just piled higher and deeper, but we're here giving our advice as coaches, as happiness coaches. And so we want you to certainly listen and receive some of these ideas we have, but we don't want you to use it against us. How's that for a disclaimer? But I am so delighted. If you've just tuned in, it is time for Doctors in the House, my newest series with Dr. Tiffany Tate. And we are now going to sort of shift, even though we're not quite at the half an hour. I don't want, if you weren't stressed, we've now brought all these reasons why you could be stressed. One more I'm going to add that I forgot to: I can't sleep, or I'm so fat. I've gained COVID-19, which stands for 19 pounds, and I can't get it off. So that's also a stressor. And I bring the health issue up because I heard, and you've probably heard this statistic, Dr. Tiffany, 85% of all diagnoses of physical ailments in the general doctor's office is stress. I was shocked when I heard that number. 85, or it was 85 or 86, because 42.7% of statistics are made up on the spot. But 85% of all diagnoses in your GP's office, general practitioner, says that it is due to stress. So when you have aches and pains or whatever your diagnosis is, the number one attributed factor is stress. So what do we do about it? Take it away.
Yes, a lot of times there is an underlying component because it can manifest as body aches and pains. So, what are the physiologic components of stress? You can have palpitations, you can have chest pain, you can have body aches. And these body aches can manifest as neck pain, low back pain, aches in your arms, your knees, anywhere throughout your body. People have been seen in the emergency room, they have been seen in the general practitioner's office, they have been seen in urgent care. And you say, okay, how do I know the difference? The honest truth is, you do not know the difference. And depending on your age, it can truly mean the difference between life or death because you do not know the difference, especially if you have comorbidities such as high blood pressure or diabetes and you're having chest pain. So, if you know that you are under a stressful situation and you start to have chest pain, I would recommend you go and be seen immediately to have it evaluated to make sure that you know what is actually going on with you. Because it's better to be sent home and be showed that it's nothing than to stay home and have it be something. I think that when you start to have chest pain and you start to have shortness of breath and you start to have dizziness and lightheadedness, I, as a physician, would rather you go in, have an EKG, have cardiac enzymes, and have the whole workup and be told, hey, you know what? What else is going on in your life? Okay, this is just anxiety and stress and be sent home and given different things you can do. Now, you can sit, you can do breathing exercises, and you can start exercising in general to decrease your stress and work out to try to be a healthier you. But, comma, if your heart is under stress and you're having chest pain, you need to have that evaluated immediately. You can't just say, oh, this is just stress. This is just anxiety.
Yes.
Because we do not know what it is. Number
Yeah.
one.
Great point, Dr. Tiffany, because we're trying to um, we Dr. Tiffany picked this topic because there's a lot of people under stress right now, but we do not want you to manage your stress if you're at that point where you need to be in the hospital. So that's a great, absolute first point. I pulled this up from the Mayo Clinic because I can remember when I was in undergrad doing a clinical psych degree that it was not necessarily proven that stress can negatively affect your health and your body. It was a supposition. It was a theory. But now in this last 3 decades, there's actual proof. And Mayo Clinic is a respected place. That's why I pulled them up. Look at the different areas where stress is empirically, with empirical data linked to. So, stress, common effects, this is not uncommon, on your body: headache, You can get anxious on your behavior, overeating or undereating, muscle tension and pain that you started with, Dr. Tiffany, restlessness, angry outbursts, chest pain, lack of motivation or focus, drug or alcohol misuse, fatigue, memory problems, tobacco use, change in sex drive, feeling overwhelmed, avoiding friends and staying home, stomach upset, grumpy, hangry, right? Hungry, angry, exercising less often or not at all, sleep problems, sadness or depression. And this one is the one that I absolutely want people to keep in their heads is getting sick easier due to a weaker immune system. And that, my friends, was actually covered by Dr. Deepak Chopra, who is a great friend slash teacher of mine, who said there are two emotions that can make your cells sick, literally not have them work in sync. Guess what those two emotions are? Dr. Tiffany?
Well, stress is one.
Okay, two emotions, two actual emotions: anger and hostility, which is anger on steroids. That will literally compromise your immune system. Now, how many times do you get angry a day? So every time you get angry now, I want you to remember what you're doing to your cells to see if you can't use the breathing and calming yourself down. Now, there are three emotions that make your cells work in harmony. Guess what those emotions are?
Well, I think if you're happy or joyous, that's one.
It's love, peace, and the third one's a really interesting one: creativity. So, all your advice that you give, I remember last week doing something that you remember you love to do, you know, hobbies, going back to what you really enjoy doing, right? That's creativity. And if you're a person who's been told your entire life, you're so sensitive. Why are you so sensitive? You take things so personally. The good news is creativity is 100% correlated with sensitivity. So now when someone calls you too sensitive, you can say, thank you very much. I am creative. So creativity will counteract anger and hostility in terms of helping your immune system dance.
And I think that a lot of times when you want to combat the stress, studies show that the best way to do this is to not necessarily only do those things, but to sit down and do the breathing exercise for like 5 to 10 minutes and incorporate exercise into your daily habits, like we talked about, I think, an episode or two, either the week before, for like 5 to 10 minutes a day, because that will also help bring your blood pressure down, increase your body endorphins, which also increases your happiness and increases and improves your mood. It kind of stabilizes you. And all of these things mellows you out. And that decreases your stress level, which also makes you a happier person. Because if you're happy, everyone else in your home and around you are happy. And that also improves your heart health, which improves your overall health because your health is truly your wealth. So when you talk about your stress level and your anxiety level, they both improve. But stress is different from your anxiety because they both will make you on edge, but one can impact your health and cause palpitations and chest pain, and one just makes you more anxious.
Interesting. Um, let's try and just demonstrate. This is a tool that I use instead so that people can actually experience or practice that breathing. I call it my 3 breath technology. So if you would do this with me, I do it at the to prepare people to do some Tai Chi, which is the moving meditation that I balance Tai Chi Kong So here we go. Eyes gently closed, taking a deep breath in through the nose and releasing. Soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. Another deep breath in and releasing all the stories and the drama. So that first breath activated your body because you're moving the breath through your shoulders, your elbows, and your knees. The second breath activated your mind as you release the stories and the drama. And then the third breath in through the nose and releasing. You're going to connect with me and Dr. Tiffany through Chi, eternal energy, the breath of life, no beginning or no end, that connects us all. And as you just settle into that breath, put your palms up. See if you can't feel your fingers begin to tingle a bit. That's your breath moving, your chi, life energy moving through your hands. See if you can focus your attention on your feet. You might feel a little bit of a tickle down there. That's the energy moving through down into your toes. And one last breath in. And now releasing and gently opening your eyes, coming back to the room. How was that? Did you feel the tingling? So I advise people once an hour, top of the hour, you can put your alarm on. What happens throughout the hour is we have a tendency to hold our breath, right? So we never really get that full breath in because we're afraid of the other shoe to drop. That's a habit of stress, a habit of anxiety. So at the top of the hour, if you are consciously breathing just those 3 breaths, you're automatically going to reset your body, your mind, and your spirit. So
good.
and you're going to be, connecting with me every top of the hour because breath is the best example of how abundant our universe is, how abundant our planet is. You hear on the news that there's not enough, but the truth is, breath, when I take a breath, I take nothing from you. There's more than enough to go around. So I love the breath because it's also a good example of how good things are. If you are distracted by media, a weapon of mass distraction, it's bad news.
And I
So
think that's another point too. Sometimes the news itself can be stressful. And sometimes I decide to not watch the news, but I read the news instead. So if you don't want to get the newspaper, I know we get the news on our cell phones. And sometimes it's better to read the news in doses because the news itself can be very stressful because there's a lot of bad news on TV. And so you have to watch what you take in because sometimes that can be like a Debbie Downer. And if you find that that is negatively impacting you, you have to watch what you're taking in. And again, even as far as your friends, if you find that when you're around certain people, they are negatively impacting you, you have to watch who you are surrounding yourself with. Because if certain friends are stressing you out, you might not want to be around them too much. You might have to limit your interaction with certain family and friends if they too are negatively impacting you.
great point. Great point. If you go to bed doing this, what I'm doing is the MS, which is meaningless scrolling, or you're waking up to this or you're going to sleep with that, I guarantee you your stress is going to go up. That's just the simple truth because most of the stuff that you are looking at, unless you're looking at Cute Puppy and my feed, which is always positive, that's my social promise, but I don't necessarily my eye is not caught by good things usually. That's the way humans are. We are drawn to the accident, right? We're drawn to the bad news. And so if it bleeds, it leads. And CNN is constantly negative news. So in order to combat that, I try not to plug this in by my bed. I plug it in outside of my bedroom so that the first thing in the morning, I am not staying in bed doing that, or before bed, I'm not doing this, and then I can't fall asleep. So those are some practical tools for you.
See, I leave mine by my bed, but I turn it to do not disturb. And I go to sleep watching comedy. And so it entertains me to sleep. And I laugh myself to sleep because I believe that laughter is the best medicine. And it depends on really what you are into. And I love a good joke. And most of my friends know that I will send them hilarious memes because I'm that person. I'm the meme lady.
That's funny. I didn't know that when I sent you one this morning.
Yes, yes, I love that. And you sent me one of my favorite ones, Alvin and the Chipmunks. So,
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't know that. I must have been channeling.
yes, I I used to have an Alvin doll. I'm telling on myself now.
What
And so,
comedy do you listen to?
oh, I listen to any and every comedy, especially on Facebook. And I'll have to send you some. And
Yeah,
so,
well, no, I just wanted it for our listeners and watchers to be able to participate.
well, Daphnique is one of my favorite ones on Facebook. Her name is Daphnique Springs, I believe, and she is hilarious.
Oh, good.
And Trey Mo, he always makes fun of Popeye's chicken, and he's very funny. And so I send those to a lot of my family and friends, and it always cracks me up. And
We
so,
should invite them on. You should invite them on.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Absolutely. I will send them a message and I will
There
offer
you go.
them the opportunity to come on. But it keeps me in stitches and I'm sure
That's
they
a
welcome the opportunity.
Yeah,
But
I call laughter cardio for my soul.
oh yes, it is wonderful. So I go to sleep laughing and then I turn my phone to do not disturb so that I'm not bothered until I'm ready to be bothered. But I have two kids in college, so since it's on do not disturb, only my emergency contacts can get through.
That's great. That's great. And before we go any further, you're going to be in a play. So, talking about creativity just now as a way to relieve your stress. Tell me, I'm going to pull this up right now. Tell me about this play that you're going to be doing so that people can go and attend.
Yes, it is a play that I wrote. It's called The Souls of Women, and I think it's great, but of course I'm biased because I wrote it. And I will tell you that. And it is the story about a woman and her daughters, and she is describing women in the Bible, and they come home and they're talking about or debating over who the best woman in the Bible was. Was it Esther or Mary, the mother of Jesus? And she's like, how are you going to debate who the best woman in the Bible was when you don't even know about the Bible? And she sits them down and she tells them about the good, the bad, and the ugly of a few of the women in the Bible. And it's comical and it has a couple of musical songs in it. Shout out to Brent Jones, the gospel artist, who gave me permission to use one of his songs in the play. He is a wonderful, wonderful award-winning gospel artist, and he is a very nice man. So I greatly appreciate him, and he will probably be willing to come on the show as well.
Wonderful. Good for you. Now, is it not a one woman show?
Oh no, no, there's multiple actors in it.
Okay.
No,
Well, you never know. Hey, I wouldn't put it by you.
no, that is
So,
what it's not.
well, wonderful. It is on Friday, October 13th. Where do they get tickets?
They can get tickets at the door, or they can send me a message on Instagram. I'm trying to set up an online um, purchase option as well. But right now, they can message me on Instagram or they can buy tickets at the door. Tickets are $10 for adults, $5 for children.
Wonderful. And knowing you, proceeds are probably going to a good
All to
cause.
all to the church. Yes.
All right, Second Birth Church in Riverside, California. You'll have to go see the creative expression. Oh, you got a finger on that one, Dr. Tiffany. That's not that finger. It's this finger
Thumbs
from
up.
somebody who's listening and watching. Thank you very much for that. So, yeah, and you're also going to be somewhere else as well. Let me pull that one up. And this is another which I really wanted to be able to go and attend and do a book signing myself there, but I will be in Canada. You all know that I go there, try to go there once a quarter. My Chinese mom has Parkinson's, and so especially in the fall, I go back to throw a birthday party for her. So I won't be able to be there for this, but you can go. It's the Taste of Soul Festival, and there's a number of authors who are going to be at this particular booth, including Dr. Tiffany. Tell us about what the Mahogany Bookshelf booth is going to have.
Well, we're going to be at the Taste of Soul, and there will be 6 different authors there showcasing their books. And there's a wide range from children's books to adult books. And the Taste of Soul is in Inglewood in Los Angeles. And there's going to be lots of food vendors as well as authors, and they will be selling different clothing items from different people as well. There's lots of various booths. But in our booth, I will be there selling my books, Bad Touching, as well as Poetry. I'm also hoping to have my new book, Little Engine Mia Sings, there as well. But we will have an array of books available for you to purchase and sign and talk to the different authors. And I'm hoping you will enjoy yourselves. We will be there Saturday, October 21st from 10 to 7. It will be fun for the entire family. You won't want to miss it. So you should, by all means, come on out. It's a free event.
Yes. So be there. And I was wrong. That's not going to be the time I'm in Canada. The reason I can't go is because I'm bringing you some giveaway Asian Oprah tickets to the Catalina Jazz Festival. Those of you who know, I just love Art Good and my twin sister, Keiko Matsui, the amazing #1 Billboard artist. That's thanks to her. I met Art going there across to Catalina Island. So I will be giving a free Sunday Jazz Fest giveaway later on this month, but that is 2 weekends, the 21st weekend and the weekend before that. So just stay tuned here, where Asian Oprah giveaways include tickets to some great venues. And that's it for our commercial break here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel. And we are talking about stress. And we've given you quite a few practical tools this morning, thanks to the doctors in the house, my new series with Dr. Marissa and
Dr. Tiffany Tate.
So, what else can you and I help your stress with? If you have any questions or comments, please do put them in the chat and we will try to address them in the last 11 minutes. Time does go fast on this show for sure because we're having fun. Yes. Go ahead. What haven't we addressed?
Well, I'll just go ahead and keep talking until we get a question. And I think when it comes to stress and relationships, I don't think we talked much about that. And I think when it comes to stress and relationships, you need to go with how you feel. Because if it causes more stress and more problems, then you have your answer.
Yeah.
I think that you need to look within yourself. And I know you're probably saying that sounds simpler, especially if there are children involved. And if you have a long term relationship, or you're married, or you've been married for a long time, and you have your finances involved, pray about it. Look within yourself. If you think you're trying to stay for the kids, believe it or not, children are more resilient than you think. And sometimes you need to show them what real love looks like. And you need to say, am I setting the example that I want to set for them? And is this the type of relationship I would want them to have? And
Absolutely.
if your answer to all those is yes, then you know what you need to do. You should stay. If your answer to any of those questions are no, you should get counseling. You should get therapy to help you do what it is you think you already know you need to do.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what it is that you need to do, but you know what you need to do. And again, this show is just to help you figure out you. We're not telling you what you need to do. But if you are on the fence and you have questions about your life, we are here to help encourage you and find your happiness. And if you are not happy, you know what you need to do to find your happy. I can't help you find it, but you can.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Barbara Ross, for the compliment. Great information. Thank you, Dr. Tiffany, for that personal connection and link and loving and caring words. It brought something up for me on the good side of stress. Now, that's not what we've been talking about, but I did want to bring this up that there is value in the initial stress. And why I say that is if you are stressed because you are being hurt physically, mentally, emotionally, and that initial stressor, that's a good thing because it's telling you that something is wrong. So I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater and say all stress is bad because that initial stress, if let's say someone who's been kind and while you're dating or been the perfect whatever, we're talking about relationships now, and in an uncharacteristic surprising, which is usually how domestic violence starts, is that first kind of out of the blue smack or hit or insult, and that stresses you out. That's a sign that there's something wrong here. Houston, we got a problem. And
Absolutely.
that kind of stress is a good trigger for you to go, wait a minute, this might be telling me that I need to leave a situation. The worst kind of stress is chronic stress. So we're talking about how to avoid chronic stress. Now, if you're in that situation for a long time and it's chronic stress, it's a little more difficult to walk away or to do something to take care of yourself and act on your own behalf. So I want to just put that moose on the table that if it's a first stressor, that's a good stress. It's lighting a fire under your asset to get your booty out. And so you listen to that stress. If it's chronic stress, that's not necessarily a good thing. And then we follow the get some help. Go to someone who has, there's a lot of places now that offer free help, especially if you're in that domestic abuse situation. For sure, for sure. Now, the kind of chronic stress that is not good for you is called the stress when you wake up screaming and you realize you haven't been asleep. And that kind of stress is worry, anxiety, depression, okay, which is anger internalized. If you have that kind of stress, before you go take a pill, before you even go and to someone to get a pill, I want you to remember these sayings. There's a Native American saying that says, worry is like a prayer for bad things to happen. So if you self identify and say, oh, I've worried all my life, I'm a worrywart, and people go, ha, 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 it's not funny. You are bringing into your life by purposely worrying about things that haven't even happened, living in worst case scenario, you choose that stress. and then you're going to get sick. That's just the way it is. So please, worry is not a paying job. Worry is, having a worst case scenario thoughts that almost never happen. And worse off, law of attraction, you continue to worry about things that haven't happened. You are asking them to happen. Whatever you focus on grows bigger. That's the law of attraction. It happens like gravity, whether you believe in it or not, it's going to happen. So please, 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 please do not bring calamity to you by being in worst case scenario. Best case scenario, pronoia. What's the best possible outcome for this situation? What's my best feeling thought that I can choose for myself? Sorry, Dr. Tiffany, I had to say that because I watch it all the time. People come to me and like, I don't know why I keep having accidents. I keep picking the wrong guy. I keep doing this. I keep doing that. And it's like, honey, you're doing that to yourself. You can't let shiitake go, so more shiitake comes.
I agree. And so I will read a poem called Behind My Smile from my book, Flowetry. I guess this one. And it says, behind my smile, I suffer in silence, for only you know what I'm really going through. Behind my smile, the fake jokes and laughter, you see the heartache and the tears that fall. You see the pain, you see the mental anguish and strain. You see the truth behind my smile. And so I think that a lot of times when we're stressed and when we have anxiety, we put on this mask and we just push through. But I think we don't need to hide behind our smile. We need to have a genuine and a true smile and persevere and shake off the stress, shake off the strain, and find our true happy.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. That's from Dr. Tiffany's book of poetry. That was, if you remember, years ago. I don't even know how many. Dr. Tiffany was a guest on my show with her book of poetry. And now she's my co-host. We're so glad that you joined us today. Hopefully you got something of the many things like Barbara. She did get something from us today. And I'm so grateful that she complimented us on the chat line. Please do join us every Wednesday for the new series called Doctors in the House. Final word, Dr. Tiffany.
I think that we can push through anything we face, and we can persevere, and we can shake off the stress, shake off the strain, and truly find our happy.
Wonderful. My final word, we are the boss of our own stress. You may not be able to control how people act, what people say, and whether a pandemic comes or not. But we can choose our reactions to people, places, and things, because we are pretty powerful people when we choose to be. And that's my final word. I'm so glad that you tuned in to take my advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, home to the special series Doctors in the House with Dr. Marissa and
Dr. Tiffany Tate.
Thanks for joining us. It's all about balance. Peace in
and peace out.
World peace through inner peace. Join me tomorrow. It is Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and Sam Works, my funky put the moose on the table. We talk about everything, maybe even a little scandalous. So join me tomorrow. But in the meantime, have the best day ever. See you tomorrow.
Bye for now.
KCAA Loma Linda. The Legacy KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. A Pennsylvania community is on the edge as the hunt for a dangerous escaped killer intensifies. Convicted murderer Daniela